on, you'll see a reenactment of the Battle of Lexington. 236 years ago, on the dawn of the 19th of April in the year 1775, this very common became the birthplace of American liberty. Here, in this very place, the first forcible resistance to the British Crown occurred. Here, on the bloody spring dawn, was born the idea of revolution and freedom. Again, we have the privilege of reliving that history that is such a significant part of our heritage. And now, Captain Grossman.
Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Lieutenant Albert Charlo, United States Navy, Operations Officer for the USS Constitution. How about we give a nice warm welcome? Before proceeding with the reenactment, I would like to say a few preliminary words. For the past 40 years, the Lexington Minutemen and His Majesty's 10th Regiment of Foot have conducted this reenactment of the opening shots of the American Revolution to remember the events of April 19, 1775, and to honor all those who fought and died in support of freedom's cause. While the result of the revolution was independence and a new nation dedicated to freedom, the struggle for liberty did not end there. Throughout our nation's 236-year history, the cost of freedom has grown ever higher. Even today, men and women of our nation's armed forces serve here and overseas to protect the freedom that our nation's forefathers and many generations that have followed have fought so hard for. Today, you will see once again the reenactment of the Battle of Lexington. However, while the reenactors on the green provide us with the visual aspect of the reenactment, it is you, the spectators here today, are as much a part of this as any one of us colonial folks. By being here with us today, braving the chill of a very early hour, and where you have stood in place for hours on this Monday morning, you are saying that you too are standing up for freedom's cause. I know I speak for every reenactor, colonial or British, when I express a most sincere thank you for taking the time to be with us on Lexington Green this morning. We are very pleased that you have chosen to be with us for this most solemn ceremony dedicated to the men of 1775. Now, to set the stage for the reenactment. Consider some of the events which led up to the armed confrontation. In the years leading up to the battle, Parliament, back in England, imposed various taxes on the colonies, and antagonism between the American colonies and the mother country grew steadily. Because of this growing tension, King George III found it necessary to keep military forces in Boston to contain the colonists' resentment and to support the royal governor. In December of 1773, the Lexington Militia, under the command of Captain John Parker, reaffirmed their resolve to fight for freedom and support the common cause of liberty at any cost by taking the pledge. We trust in God, and should the state of our affairs require it, we shall be ready to sacrifice our estates and everything dear in life, yea, and life itself, in support of the common cause. By 1774, virtually every town within 50 miles of Boston had formed either a militia or a minute company. In addition to training farmers for soldiering, some towns had become storage depots for gunpowder and military supplies. Concord was such a town. On the night of the 18th of April, Paul Revere set out from Boston on horseback to alert local militia captains Samuel Adams and John Hancock of the impending march of the British regulars. Hancock and Adams were staying at the home of the Reverend Jonas Clark, just a short distance north of this town. The possibility existed that the regulars were coming to seize these two patriots. All along his route, Revere cried the alarm to the villagers that the British regulars were on the march. He arrived in Lexington around midnight. Immediately, Captain Parker ordered the alarm bell in the old belfry, which was on the common in those days, to be sounded to notify the townspeople and the militia of the impending crisis. Militiamen assembled on the green as they appeared from their homes throughout the town. Paul Revere's speed on horseback could not be matched by the hundreds of British soldiers slowly plodding through the night as they marched towards Lexington from Boston. After much delay, 120 members of the militia who had answered the alarm and had assembled on Lexington Green were allowed to retire to their homes. Some who lived nearby returned home, others remained on the green, and still others retired to Buckman Tavern, which you can see still stands just across from the green. Throughout the night, Parker sent scouts on horseback on the road towards Boston to watch for the movement of the regulars and to notify Parker of their proximity. It was near daybreak when Thaddeus Bowman returned to Buckman Tavern and reported excitedly to Captain Parker and the militia that the regulars were indeed less than 1/2 mile away. As the reenactment begins, this is the scene. Some Minutemen are on the green. Others are at Buckman Tavern with Captain Parker, awaiting word regarding the movement of the British regulars. You will see Thaddeus Bowman arrive on horseback and alert Captain Parker of the news. The captain will order the firing of the alarm gun and will then order 19-year-old William Diamond to continue the alarm on his drum. The militia will rally to the town's defense and take up their position on the green. Now, earlier tonight, after Paul Revere had moved on after warning Hancock and Adams at midnight, Revere spied a patrol of British officers on horseback heading towards the town of Lincoln. Unfortunately, Mr. Revere was captured. They took his horse, but upon hearing the militia in Lexington clearing their weapons, which they did by actually firing them, the patrol released Paul Revere and ordered to quickly return to their encampment in Boston. Revere then walked back to Lexington where John Hancock and Samuel Adams were preparing to evacuate to Woburn. Suddenly, Hancock remembered a trunk full of his private papers and had been left in Buckman Tavern. Many minds would be in danger if those papers fell into the wrong hands, as they contained the names and other information of many of the activists and patrons of the time. Revere volunteered to retrieve his trunk. Just after the militia company assembles on the green, you will see Paul Revere and Hancock's secretary John Lowell carry this trunk from Buckman Tavern onto the green and right to the ranks of the militia to eventually return it to John Hancock. As the redcoats advance on the green, you will witness British officers demand that the rebels disperse. After some hesitation, several of the militia will push to the front in defiance of the order. Others will retreat and begin to run. Captain Parker will steady his men and exhort them to courage. Many will be confused. Many will be angry. Just about all of them will be scared and unsure of their actions. In an attempt to pacify the rebellious farmers, the British regulars will release 2 militiamen from Woburn who were captured earlier and they were caught spying on the British men. It is at this